Hello everyone, Josh from Encore, the Mustang Parts Warehouse. Inside the warehouse today, going through my steering columns and reorganizing them, and I'm going to change the way that I list them. So right now I've got pulled out about 50 steering wheels. These are all 87 to 89, which were pretty much the same. You had some rare ones for your SSP or Cruise Delete option cars, but most of them are a kind of a rubberish, dark blue, navy gray, not black exactly, but this is kind of the most common wheel that you'll find in an 87 to 89, and it does offer tilt. So this is a commonly asked for and ordered steering column out here, because guys with newer Mustangs, although it doesn't fit exactly correct with the trim and everything like that, the 87 to 89 tilt seems to be the most commonly asked for and regularly sold steering column. So what I've been doing pretty much since the beginning of time, especially with this many options, is I was using a stock photograph like McDonald's does with their Big Mac, and you'd pull up to the drive-thru, you'd place an order with me, and I would go through my my cars that were complete. I would come in the warehouse, look for the best horn button, etc., etc. And although I've always been able to meet or exceed a customer's expectations with condition and using a stock photograph, it's about time that I kind of narrow down, you know, even some of the rougher ones and start getting those listed. So what I mean by that is I'm going to start taking exact pictures, maybe even short descriptive videos of steering wheels and steering columns. So today it's about 50 of my 87 to 89. So you'll probably see the stock photograph on eBay and my website changing soon. And there will be individual descriptive advertisements with a price that reflects the condition. Of course, these are warehouse fresh, so some of them came out of boxes. You can see those are probably more the black ones. Some of them were maybe sitting on or towards this dirt floor, which would let some mold and other moisture get at some of the metal parts. But it seems that the steering wheels always come clean. A little bit of some Windex, Armor All, Simple Green, some kind of combination of those. But these are all the exact same wheel, except for, like I said, some of these more rare ones, which were maybe Saline, SSP, cars that didn't have cruise control. There's another one there, kind of one of the nicer ones wrapped up over there. So there's a handful of those wheels. And of course I do sell the individual parts. I don't sell like a lock cylinder aluminum. I know that those are broken a lot, or someone lost the key, they got to smash that out, and now they can turn their steering wheel, but they can't start the car the correct way. So you'll see on my website today, which is actually the day before my birthday, you'll see I have some different options for buying a column. It's complete, or it's bare, it's with a premium wheel or an economy wheel. The Cruise Delete with Cruise, and then I probably had a grading scale A or B in case there was like a tear, or some of them like this is a good one here where the like glue or whatever that holds the inside, sometimes that comes loose. That one's good, that one's good. But again, the way I've had these listed in the past, you really couldn't order a cheap one. You kind of were forced to I funnel you to just buying the best. And that would be one of the ones I'd come in here. I probably got shrunk wrapped and cleaned up and more or less ready to go. Or like I said, I would take them out of a car. So not much else to show here. Like I said, there's a couple nice ones that are that Cruise Delete. There are fixed columns and tilt columns for the 87 through 89. I'll have all the trim you're looking for. And once I find all the keys for these again, I'll probably have more than one listing going at a time. So you don't just necessarily have to, again, it won't be like one listing where you're forced to buy the best. I would say, this one might be price A minus, price B plus. We're going to have different prices, and instead of having one option for myself to sell at a time, let's clear some of this stuff out of the warehouse. If I had 17 steering columns and 8 wheels listed today, I could sell half this pile instead of, I still have a listing that shows a quantity right now, but it's using that stock photograph. So, excuse me. For your sake anymore, I don't want to use that stock photograph for my sake anymore. I don't want to chase down what a customer thinks they ordered after the sale. I'd like to just list what I have. You know, we got a messed up wheel with no cruise buttons. Maybe somebody wants that. And if I don't list it individually, maybe I'll just keep a hold of it. I'll never sell it. So don't need to go extra long today. Let's take one more gander. If you had any interest in these parts, you're probably going to find between 87, 88, and 89, there are a few different part numbers. Like I can see an E8 hiding in the paint. Right back there, E8ZC on that one. Not sure exactly what Ford changed. It could be the font on this stick. It could be how many delay options they have. They could have changed a resistor on the inside, but there's definitely many. I'm trying to peek behind here, see if we could find a different E9 or an E7. All that tells us is probably a little bit more of like the date that the car is, 87, 88, 89, if they changed that switch. I'm going to assume, I see the aftermarket suppliers now sell a switch that they say covers multiple years. So there's probably not much or any significant, here's a fixed column, 87, 88. There's probably not much different about the physical hookup of the part as far as wiring goes. Here's another fixed column. Because, like I said, even the 87 to 89 harness seems to be more or less interchangeable. Another fixed one. So if you need the exact E7, E8, I'm not sure if there's an E9 part number, but if you need the exact part number, you'll be able to order it that way. That's the way I've got them listed. I don't use I don't use a listing like the aftermarket ones where it just says, you know, fits this range to that range. I'm going to have the exact part number. Now, you think this is a lot of parts. This is just 3 years of production, 87, 88, and 89. So if you're interested in a steering column for 79, 80 to 82, 83 to 86, probably just going to be as many, you know, every 3 years. I might have 15 per how do I say this? Since there's 3 years here and there's 50 wheels, it's about 15, 18 per year. I probably don't have as many of the 94 to 04. I probably don't have as many of the early 80s, but from 83 to 86, there's going to be a lot of options. I've got a lot of there's a 4-spoke wheel people like. There's a 3-spoke kind of stitched look that a lot of people like for their GTs, SVOs. I've got some specific columns and wheels for that. And then some of the even some of the 90 to 93 Fox body stuff. Clock springs, airbag pieces, and there were some colored steering wheels in like late 92, 93. You could have got a blue, you could have got a red. I have those, I have the bags. And this is kind of the rebirth of visiting the steering column stuff. They've become really popular. I owe 2 steering columns out today even. One on my website, one on eBay. I've sold probably 2 more in the past 4 weeks. This exact tilt, 87, 89. So they're really popular. So thank you for telling me what is a popular item right now by ordering them. Those of you who have, those of you who are watching, I appreciate that you've hung around this long. Tells me that there's still some kind of interest and preferably or hopefully some demand behind these items. I know there's some of this stuff offered reproduction, but of course nothing beats original. So I'm going to be cleaning these, organizing these, listing them, probably 1 and then 2 and then 3. I got to put them all away here pretty soon, of course. So I'll probably pull out, like I said, a few options, maybe the more complete looking ones, like this one here. It's got the ignition switch. That's a little rusty, but hey, like I said, if I don't list it, I'm never going to sell it. So, you know, listed as rusty at a discount over the one next to it that's clean. So I would expect, by the end of September, we probably see half a dozen or so individual listings come up. And I do have the columns, the bare naked columns. I'm going to probably hold off on taking exact pictures of those for now. So if you do want a bare steering column with a key for tilt or standard, You can go to my website and order those right now. Fixed is the word I was looking for. So you can go order a bare column. It's going to be what you see here minus the steering wheel and turn signal switch, basically just an ignition switch and a key that work with a steering, no steering wheel on the bare column. But when we get into the 90 to 93, I may or may not get around to taking a huge video of that, but if there's 50 sitting here for a 3-year gap, 90 to 93, I might have 75, 80, 85 wheels and columns, and then you got all the clock spring and airbag differences. This isn't supposed to be an educational video. Of course, now you know there were 2 different style of column, 87 to 89, fixed and tilt, and you kind of learned that there's only 2 wheel options with and without cruise control. They always had the same non-textured finish, kind of a navy, dark blue, gray kind of a color, never black actually. These are all the same. Some are dirty, some are clean, some are wrapped in electrical tape, but that's about what you get. It's about your options for an era correct, and buyer beware if you're going to try and put something like this in an earlier or later car. But these are the current loose items in the Encore Mustang Parts Warehouse, 87 to 89 Mustang steering columns and wheels. So thank you all for spending some time with me. EncoreMPW.com and Encore MPW, the Mustang Parts Warehouse on eBay. Talk to you soon.